Now, there's a conversation you need to have this morning. Yesterday, as I was monitoring the media outlets, there was something we saw on Citizen TV. And here's the thing. It was the most remarkable morning interview I've ever seen, because I still have the audio. And it was by Senator Richard Onyonka, who is with me here in studio. And what he said was something unbelievable. Senator, karibu sana. First of all,
Minor, thank you so much. I am actually quite happy to be here because once in my lifetime I worked in radio.
You know, I could not believe when he told me that. We actually worked at Nation FM.
FM, yes.
You used to read news.
I used to read news, and when the biggest thing I remember is when Salva Kiir, the president of South Sudan, died in Uganda. I was the one who read the first.
Wow.
Yeah, in fact, I had BBC calling me and saying, "Are you sure what you're talking about?"
Oh my God.
Yes.
Wow.
So I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Welcome to Classic
And
105.
all my friends and relatives who are your friends tell me that they are your friends.
Oh, okay. Wasalimia sana, wambie na wapenda pia.
Thank you so much.
You on Citizen TV,
yes.
Daybreak.
Yes.
I've never seen anything that has shocked me to the core.
Yes.
Like what you were discussing.
Yes.
There is a statement you made to the Senate.
Yes.
To the Speaker of the Senate.
Yes.
Pursuant to Standing Order 53.
Yes.
You are seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads and Transportation on the leasing of JKIA.
Yes.
First of all, what is going on? What is happening with this? Because we also saw the Prime Cabinet Secretary come out yesterday.
Yes.
What's going on with JKIA? What happened?
First of all, I'll tell you that this is at the personal level. It was one of the most difficult things I had to do.
Yeah.
For the simple reason that I received a phone call.
Yeah.
From a very brave young guy. He called me. He said, you know, I have this information. I don't know what to do with it.
Who's this person?
He lives in France. I can't tell you his name and everything. So you know how you get a call and you dismiss it?
Yes.
So I kept dismissing it for about a day.
Yeah.
Then from another source, somebody called me and said, please talk to this guy who's calling you from France.
Yeah.
Because the guy sounds like there's something really drastic.
Yeah.
So I thought it was those stories. Oh, I traveled, I got here, I got stuck.
Yeah.
You know, I'm now homeless. How can I? So what actually happened is when I made a phone call, the young man told me, before you discuss anything with me, let me send you some documents.
Yeah.
And those are the documents that I picked. And I was like, oh my God, this cannot be true. And then I asked him, I said, now tell me, where did this come from? He says, I live in France. I work in a company that deals with asset management.
Yeah.
And I saw this document. I've never seen in it publicly that Kenyan airports are going to be given out to somebody else. And I said, are you serious? He said, that's the story. Please look at it. It started a long time ago. There was a feasibility study. After that, last week, the young man had enough to convince me that this is something I had to do. And that is to raise it either in public, or I was thinking, do I go to ASCC? Then I said, no, the first thing I do, let me take this to the Senate, because that's where I work and this is my job.
Yes.
Then I did the statement, tabled it.
Yeah.
But again, because of the way our system is structured, even when I tabled my question, unless it's put through the order paper, whereby there's a committee that sits.
Yes.
The House Business Committee is the one which sits and decides that you're going to put this on the floor.
Yes.
So I decided that since by me tabling it, it becomes a legal document, then I could proceed and just talk about it.
Yeah.
And that is when I now started raising these issues. I think it was around Friday last week.
Yes.
And I decided if I get a chance publicly, I will discuss this matter. And that is how now, when I went to the studio, because I'm always on Citizen on Tuesdays, then I was asked the question, why do you think these kids are going to the airport? I said it's because they know the airport has been sold. And I don't know what we're going to do. I then called Umtata. I asked him to rush to court. I believe there's a matter there.
Yeah.
There is another legal company, a team that came on board also.
Yeah.
They've also filed a case, and we are demanding documents, and we want to be given all the agreements which have been signed by Kenya Airports Authority and whichever entity to discuss these private partnership agreement they are talking about.
This young man,
yes,
how did he come into contact with the documents?
Where he worked, his job was to make sure that the documents go through the conveyor belt. There's a way internationally when you are doing such a transaction where you deposit such agreements. That is why you remember, like Goldenberg, we are still paying for it. Once the deal was done, nobody knew about it. It was brought. There's a way they deposit it with the International Finance Organization, or they deposit in one of those UN and World Bank I mean, World Bank and IMF organizations. And once they deposited the document, when it was going through, the guy is a Kenyan. That is when he called me.
If he did not see the documents, the deal
was done. The deal was done.
Okay. This is what I don't get.
Yes.
How does something like that happen without knowledge or consent of the Senate or Parliament?
That is why I've been saying, Maina, the system is broken. This system is designed in such a manner that such things will take place. It will only be maybe in the next 30 years when you'll discover there was an agreement. What worries me and what scares the hell out of me is that we don't know how many agreements like this that have been signed. This is, I believe, one that got to the public knowledge.
There are others.
I believe there are others. We don't know what has been signed at the port of Mombasa. I mean, I'm a senator. We have been constantly discussing and raising the issues that we need to know the veracity and openness because on how we are handling our resources. Nobody knows which agreements are there. Nobody knows which agreements we've signed with individuals who are even mining our resources. Nobody knows.
Okay, what is the deal? What is this deal with JKIA? What are the terms?
We don't know. The question we are asking, Maina, is this.
Yes.
Do you know how much this company is going to earn? Do we know?
But what are the concessions we give them?
The concessions are that they will run this outfit for the next, that is all the airports of Kenya. In other words, they are going to be like KAA.
Kenya
they are the ones who will be running the outfit. They're the ones who will be hiring people. You remember like how Patni was running the duty-free shop?
Yes.
That is it. They are going to run your airport the way Patni was running the duty-free shop. They are going to be collecting the revenue. They are the ones who will be accountable to that revenue. We don't know whether the Auditor General can even audit them. We don't know how much money they have offered. Are you with me? To the Kenyan government. I don't think whether the Auditor General and all the statutory bodies know what documents have been drafted. I don't know whether the Attorney General. In fact, now I'm beginning to believe that the fight that was taking place between Justin Muturi and the system is that he must have refused to sign this agreement. And that is why this agreement has been signed immediately after the cabinet had been broken.
So they're going to have control of our airports for how long?
For 30 years.
30?
Yes. And they'll be collecting the revenue. We don't know whether the revenue will be handed over to the government. In other words, let me give you an example, Maya. Paul Kagame has done the same agreement.
Yes.
But what he has done, the Qataris have agreed to build for him a brand new airport for free. Then he has agreed, the Qataris have also given Paul Kagame about 30 aeroplanes. In the next 2 to 3 years, Rwanda Air is going to be one of the biggest airlines on the African continent. That agreement in itself, when you look at it and what you see the Qataris have done, you see the country is going to benefit. For ours, we've lost out all our airports. We do not know who's going to collect the money and whether the central bank or the consolidated fund will be receiving this money. We don't know any concession we've got to benefit the Kenya airports. So we don't know whether these are the individuals, the company that is going to handle traffic controlling. Traffic controlling is a national security issue. How can a committee in the Senate or Parliament not have the capacity to interrogate this agreement, to know what have these people signed with our government?
I'm stuck at 30 years.
Yes.
Then after 30 years, what happens?
After 30 years now, they then negotiated what is called an equity value addition, where the company, Adani International, will own the airports of Kenya Authority forever, for the rest of your life and our children's life.
All of it?
Yes. They will be owning 18% of that eternally.
The Senate didn't see this thing before it went to be signed?
No, it didn't.
Parliament did not
Parliament did not see it, no. And that is why I'm saying, who signed this agreement and under what condition? Did we hold public hearings? The Constitution states this is a major policy shift. This is a complete change from what Kenya used to be. So can you tell us, did we hold public hearings with stakeholders, with the people? Let me ask you, Maina, one of the most painful things that I thought about the other day, all the people who work at the airports, whether it's in Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisumu, wherever it's going to be, they'll go home. Because this company will have to hire afresh.
Okay, when things like this take place,
yes,
what is the normal procedure? What's supposed to happen before anything is done?
Immediately that I raised this issue, my assumption is...
No, I'm saying, if the government wants to say, lease out JKIA in all our airports, what is the normal procedure to follow?
Normal procedure is that the ministry will come with a proposal, will look for the committees that are responsible at the National Assembly and the Senate. They'll discuss that. This matter will be, they will ask opinions and views from the public, which they will advertise in the paper. Individuals will come, some will come and say, yes, we think it makes sense, you sell. This is the example we have. If you do this, this is what the value addition will be for our country, Kenya. And there's really no problem, because even in other jurisdictions, there could be other companies which are doing that, because sometimes these days outsourcing is allowed. But the problem is, why the secrecy? Why is all the information being hidden from people like me? My job as a senator is to oversight the government.
True.
Why does the government find it uncomfortable that I'm actually I'm asking them these questions? When Musalia was talking about that,
the Prime Cabinet Secretary yesterday came out and said, there's nothing like this.
He forgot. That's not his job. We have outfits that have got the responsibility to investigate, to ascertain whether the allegations and the accusations and the tablings are correct, to check and bring, like I've asked these questions. You see, if you see in my question paper, which is supposed to come to the Senate, I've asked them to bring me what? The minutes of the meetings they had, who was in those meetings, what did they discuss in those meetings, what did they agree with? We don't have, so Musalia is telling me there's no agreement, but I've asked things here which I want him to give me. The Constitution allows me to have freedom of information. And I'm asking.
I'm still trying to wonder how the hell this happened.
That's Kenya for you. My worry, our country is actually in the process of becoming a banana republic. There are certain things we are doing which we should never do. Because there are things which you don't do. I mean, as I told you, one thing I'm scared to death about this is that what happens when we discover that actually the port of Mombasa was leased out and nobody knew about it.
I watched, when I saw you on Daybreak, I got a headache. I said, no, how is this possible?
I still have headaches.
So there could be other agreements that we don't know about.
That's my fear. I mean, you've had cases where there are Emirati people coming here and they're leasing Kenyan land and they're talking to I don't know who. You're listening to the materials and mineral resources that this country has got that are being mined clandestinely and being hidden from the public eye. You're hearing trains picking those materials and transporting them. We have been mining Tiomin in Kwale for the last 20 years. How much did we make out of it? What happened to the oil we are mining?
By the way, what happened to the oil?
What happened? How much money? Yes, how much money did we put there? And what happened to it? Why did certain individuals from leadership and from the ruling class go and buy blocks and blocks of that land in Turkana. The reason is that that's why we can't mine the oil, because they have filed concessions and saying this is their oil. Shouldn't we discuss this in Kenya? Minor.
Oh my God.
Minor, do you know that we have uranium? You know that we have rare minerals. If we actually agree to, I have an executive brief I was given when the president was in the US. One of the guys who works in the World Bank said, "You guys, I don't know what's wrong with you. The amount of rare minerals you have are worth about 140 billion US dollars. And all you do is you give us those concessions for 5 years. You can pay your debts and Kenyans will get out of poverty." I was like, "You're high on something." The guy said, "Dare me." And it's true. When I checked, he gave me the executive brief and I have it. But nobody minor wants you to know which agreements we're signing, how much money is involved, where this money is going, whether we have a sovereign fund which is going to manage these things. Our country, that's why you hear me every time I say the system is so broken deliberately for corruption purposes. That's why you can't get anything.
I talk for a living, but
I can see you're breathing hard. I see how she's like, "Oh my God, my world is gonna end." Don't worry, nobody is gonna end your world. Mine will have to start before we come to yours.
Okay, so how broken is the system?
Completely. I can sit here and tell you that, number one, every single thing we do during the budgeting system, from the beginning of the budget until the end of it, the money you see that is being put there, which is, we are now stuck at about 3 trillion 400 billion. Half of that money is for corruption. I sit in the budget committee and I can sit and tell you this is going for corruption. I'll give you an example. Last year we allocated money to do tarmac roads. Did you hear anywhere in Kenya where a tarmac road was done? We spent 117 billion. I can tell you that your financial structure previously, for the last 11 to 12 years until President William Ruto came to power, the IFMI system was in the hands of private individuals. How do you take your financial system and allow private individuals to manage all your financial transactions through public and private arrangements where the government doesn't have exclusive end-to-end inscription on that system for 12 years?
How is that possible?
It only happens in Kenya. Because we laugh at these things.
So how did you know all this?
Yes.
And we're only finding out now.
I'm learning this after I go to the Senate. I'm sitting in boards. I'm sitting in committees where I am listening the presentations being made and I'm looking at the detailing coming out. It's just mind-blowing. It's shocking.
Quick question.
There is no government fund, whether it is donor funded, whether it is money for agriculture, whether it is money for water, that is never stolen. They have even money in county governments. Governors know how to beat the system, to beat the IMF and World Bank conditionalities.
Wow.
Yes. The reality is that you saw me once when I was giving my interview. How can a country that collects revenue to the tune of between 7 and 8 East African countries, that has got a population which is 40 to 48 to 54 million people, be unable to feed itself, eat, and take their kids to school and give them drinking water and make sure that the system runs? And the money we collect is the equivalent of Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Uganda, Somalia, and Ethiopia. How can that be normal? So the system is designed, and this is what I've been saying, and people are like, what's wrong with this guy? I'm not abnormal. This system, this is what I'm saying. Ruto has to fix the damn thing because it's broken. Money is stolen from the national government. All these stories you said, we don't want to give the First Lady her money. That's the kitty. That's the kitty that people have been sharing and eating for the years. How much money? You saw the other day. How can a governor buy flowers in Bungoma for 25 million during Madaraka Day? And during that time after we had been there, His hospital, when we visited it, because I went under the devolution committee, we found women lying on the damn floor. And this idiot is spending how much? 25 million to buy flowers. Is that normal?
It's not normal.
It's not normal. How many times have you seen Nancy Karugu, the controller, the auditor general, and Ms. Nyakango, the controller, by saying the money is being stolen, gentlemen. Money is being... Please, we don't know what to do. The audit... How can a governor pay 962 million shillings to 2 legal firms from Machakos County? For case... Which case is that you are taking to court that costs $1 billion?
Shillings in legal fees.
Is that normal?
It's not normal.
And nothing is done about it.
This is
crazy. And when we are telling ESCC how useless they are, they keep telling us we take the case, we hand the case over to the DPP. We don't know why DPP is not arresting people. We know that every single time, Maish, if today I reported you to ESCC that you've done something illegal or you are culpable, the next thing they do is that you have to look for money, you put it in a briefcase, and you deliver the cash. Or 90% of our governors deliver the cash, and nobody is willing to talk about it.
Let me ask you.
Maina, can I ask you today? We don't know the number of primary school kids we have. We don't know how many kids that are going to secondary school. We don't know the number of guys who are going to university, the kids, boys and girls who are going to university.
I thought you've got that inventory.
Negative. The inventory, if you asked it today, you'll never get it. Why? Because those are the gray areas that are left. We can't use data. So when you are doing capitation and giving government money, those are the numbers that are used to siphon off the money. How can you spend 636 billion shillings, which is what Kibaki got when he became president to start governing Kenya, paying the military, the police, and everything? You put that money in education, and your kids are not going to school for free? Are you serious? Maish, if today I asked you how much money does the port of Mombasa make?
How much does it make?
I don't know. You don't know either, and I'm a senator. If I ask that question, nobody will tell me.
Yeah, you're a senator, so you're there to represent me. So how much does it make?
What I'm saying, the system that we are running, the reason why our country is where it is, the reason why these issues of the Gen Zs have come up is that the system is so broken. How can you give 70 billion shillings for bursaries between MCA, governor, MP, women rep, deputy governor, and the governor himself at that area? The president has his own bursary kitty, his deputy has his own bursary kitty. Why can't you go damn that, take that 70 billion and give it free education to the children? Why are you allowing somebody to carry money to go and give another African people? Africans will never give you money which they have taken on your behalf. Why is he giving it to you? Let the government pay directly.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let's get back to the airport. The Prime CS said there's nothing like this. I've got this letter in my hand.
Yes.
That you wrote to the Speaker of the Senate.
Yes.
When are they going to then answer you?
My belief is by this week I should have an answer. This should have been tabled by yesterday. No, not yesterday, by Friday.
Yeah.
And I believe that within the next 1 week is now when I'll get a response from the committee. Most likely, then the committee is going to say, okay, we are going to call these guys. It'll take another 3 to 4 weeks. That is the flaw in our system. When there's an emergency, there's nothing I can do. This is a formality. That's why I've said we proceed with the public good, tell the public what is going on. If they have sold the airport, which I believe they have, right now we are trying to figure out how to use the court system and how to pick ourselves up and try and salvage this. I have more information that I cannot divulge now. For example, there are 2 Indians who are handling this. There's a relationship between the group called Medihill Hospitals, which has now again also been linked to why we left NHIF and went to SHIF. That is part and parcel of people sharing the loot.
Okay, listen. What we're going to do is I need to play a song. And then we'll be back with Senator.
Maina, I've never seen you so shocked.
We'll be back with the Senator in a while. If you've got any questions, let me know.
I know you love rally championship. Money comes, it's eaten, it's finished. Money. Let me ask you, how much money have we raised in the sports fund? Who knows how much?
I don't know.
Exactly. How can you set funds which are collecting cash money and you leave individuals to manage that money? I believe in the Auditor General has never seen the books of those things those people are doing. Every single transaction you see.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Next, I want you to tell me about the Auditor General.
Yes.
And the control of budget, because there's a question I've got there.
Yes.
That's coming up. If you've got any questions, please let me know at Classic 105 Kenya or at It's Mine Kegani. Hashtag is Mine in Kenyangi. This is crazy. This is crazy. And I'm going to post this letter, by the way, so you can access it on X.
Yes.
It's a letter from the Senator Onyonka, to the Speaker of the Senate. And you need to read it because it's important to understand these things.
Yes.
And no one knew about it. That's the crazy thing.
Yes.
We're here with the Senator. Get your questions coming through.
Because Maina, I've never seen you so shocked. What is shocking you?
I am absolutely flabbergasted because this is crazy. I cannot believe the Senate had no idea that there was a plan to lease the airport. I can't believe even Parliament had no idea. How do you wake up and sign something like this offhand?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You know that Kenya is supposed to be having carbon presentation on our forest, and we are supposed to actually leverage that internationally and get funds out of it. Have you heard anybody talk about it?
No.
I mean, everything in our country, the point, and I'm not pontificating. I am not saying that now I'm the cleanest human being. No. What I'm saying is this system is so broken that unless we begin to tell ourselves, let us stop this nonsense, we don't have a country. In Kenya today, our hardware is okay. Our roads are passable. We can get one or two. You can take a flight which is stinking, and KQ is already dead. I told you they can't even buy spare parts. They owe 20 billion shillings every year. It's given 10, 15 billion, then the money is finished. I mean, all that stuff is there. And yet the truth is, and what I've realized by being in the Senate, and many people may not know that I've been in Member of Parliament for more than 20 years, is that the software is cooked. You don't have a single government financial platform on how the government pays its bills, either to contractors, its personnel, it's anything. Everything is staccato. Everything has been cut, so that people easily are able to siphon off the cash. All right? And that system is so messed up. That is why I was telling you, Maina, 70 billion, Kibaki took primary school kids to school for free from class 1 to class 8 at 29 billion. Free education. Then Kibaki put, I think it was about 6 or to 7 billion shillings he put into help for people who are going to university. Could actually borrow money at half and whatever, which at that time I disagreed with, because to me, so many of our people have not really left the poverty line. So why are you taking a student who's going to train as a medical doctor, who lives in a quarter piece of land in Kibra, and the parents are not able to raise money even for him to get clothes to wear? And you are telling me that you are taking this child who's an A student who's going to study medicine, and you want him to pay 1.5 million shillings a year? Are you serious? And then the amount of money you put in the Ministry of Education, check. Let Kenyans Google. 636 billion shillings for free education. Take 270 billion for your paying of teachers, paying of ECD teachers, and all the consequentials. You are still left with 300 billion. Maina, do you know that all the books that are supplied to the schools are printed by individuals who are in the Ministry of Education? Why would a minister walk into an area and the first thing he does is give a school 200 million shillings when another school, which could be about 10 kilometers from that place, would not even receive $1 million? It's because that 100 million is what is given to that school, but you can bet 70 million of it has to come back to the ministry. And that is not uniquely for Ministry of Education. That is what happens in health. That is what happens. Every damn place is leaking. And we are just sitting around and looking and saying, alipiga dili yake, ilingia, squeeze ni, maju. Let
me just go to some questions here. D. Bonda,
yes,
talking about the mining.
Yes,
you're talking about we make a lot of money in mining, but we never see any of it.
Exactly.
He's asking, is this from a geologist? Where are your findings from?
Yes.
And does mining department know hii maneno?
Yes. I'll ask him a question. The one I asked you. What happened to the oil we were drilling?
Me, I don't know. But
I am asking. I am also asking. There are questions which are coming up.
Has anyone gone up to Turkana to see if those things really exist?
That is what I'm asking you. I mean, why is somebody asking me to give him data where I'm saying, you take what I've told you, go and check. If I'm lying, call me and say you lied.
Eric Karandi is saying, what are you doing about this information?
Let me ask you, Kenga Minor. What am I doing with the information? What am I doing here?
That's what he's doing with his information.
My job is not to carry a gun
yes,
and walk to somebody and want to shoot him dead because I think he broke the law or he's a thief. My job is to present evidence which then the public and the lawmakers can decide to do whatever they want to do with it.
Roman.
Yes.
Is it possible to cancel this JKIA contract deal?
God forbid, I hope we can. I really do hope we can, because we, Umtata, me, and there are other people, we are a team of senators now who have decided that we will be using all means necessary that are provided to us by the law to make sure that some of this misgovernance stops. So we are going to court.
What laws can you put in place?
There's a law at hand which demands that any major policy change, any major transaction that involves the public, like this matter of the airports and Kenyan airports, we must make sure that the public is engaged and the stakeholders participate. There is nothing Siri. There's no Siri that you're going to start discussing and telling me that no. Now this one you cannot know.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to implement because you're so stupid and you cannot read through such an agreement and tell us what's going on. We are going to demand that Kenya Airports Authority gives us the agreements that have been signed, whichever and whatever they are, including the money figure amounts, including all the exclusivity they signed on this agreement.
I've got so many questions coming through, it's crazy.
Please try and ask as many as you can.
There are so many questions coming up here.
Yes.
Hey.
And my point is, Kenyans, we need to be vigilant. We need to be a people. Let us stop pretending that everything is okay. No, everything is not okay.
Steve is saying, maybe I'm blind, but I've not seen any government projects on the roads in the last 2 years.
Absolutely. And yet, Maish, can I ask you something? If you remove the wage bill, the amount of money we pay the military for paying the officers, the money we pay the teachers and everything, and to get that whole tally, let's assume it's $1 trillion. The budget we passed last year was 3.4 trillion. What did that money do? Can somebody tell me which one project the government did, finished it, launched it, if it was a school or a university or a road or anything? Can somebody show me that?
Hey. Okay, I'm going to be taking your questions in a while. 0711046105 is my number. At Classic 105 Kenya. Or at It's Mine Kegeni. Hashtag is Mine and Kingangi. Keep them coming through Tafadhali. We are talking about the broken system that we live in. We all started talking about this airport leasing, which no one knew about, Parliament never knew about, the Senate never knew about. Some Kenyan working in France came across a document that came to his desk, and that's how Senator learned about it.
That is so true, Maina.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
How do I get 100 million shillings today?
Yes.
How?
Go and sit in the budget committee or sit in the transport committee. If you are not the chair or vice, be very nice to the chair and the vice. Make sure you run to status to go and see the president. Make sure that you are actually screaming out there and saying the government is wonderful, the president is, other than Jesus, is the one, blah, blah, blah. So that the next meeting you have with him, you tell him, boss, najua ile mambo ya barabara tulikuwa tunaongea. Anasema, we, kuja hapa, angalia maneno huyu jamaa anasema ambia nania atengenezee hiyo vitu iende huko kwake. So you receive 100 million worth of roads, which then you just go and do 2. The remaining, you organize all the paperwork, do the transaction, make sure even the tractor doesn't step there, and you grease out everybody. The engineer kulas kidogo, the oversight guy kulas kidogo, your team, if you're an MP, the group that you work with, they share the cash. Kidogo too. Sometimes they fight over it. Kidogo too, then you are left with you'll keep about 70,
80 million.
So you chill out until next year, you do another deal like that. Or if you're smart, you then now look for, now since you've been given the one for roads, now you look for water. You know, water cannot be traced because the pipes are put under. Yeah, so you look for one like this, which has been budgeted for. You talk to the minister. If possible, you get the PS because he's the one who's the AIE holder. Then you negotiate. You say, now, there's like a place called Nyakyogiro, mix, you roll it out to this, and then it says, yes, so what can we do? You put this one for 250. No. I think we can manage 150. So you go and do water and you spend about 20 million. The rest, the documentation is made, everything runs around. Sooner or later, the team around that money, you'll see guys buying new cars, you'll see a guy building a house which is maybe 9 bedrooms, and many other parks.
That is it.
That is how the system works. So number one, the reason why you see everybody running to government is because the loot. Government is the largest IPO. That's true. It is the largest IPO. 4 trillion is not a joke.
4 trillion, by the way, just to put it in context, 4 trillion is 4,000 billions. You want CDF scrapped. Why?
Because CDF has been the conduit for the stealing of public money. The members of parliament, if you look at what happens, every time that money about CDF comes, they will all gang up together. But when the story of CDF ends, why do they don't even discuss it anymore? Because CDF is the arrangement where, one, money for the bursary is put. Look at the Auditor General's report on how members of parliament spent the bursaries, 24 million, 78. Number one. Number two, money comes in through CDF, and we were being given 20 million when I was an MP. Now it has moved to 100 million. That is the amount of money an MP is given to go and do roads at a village level. That money, yes, some MPs have done a wonderful job, but the rest, they've just poo-pooed on this thing. So what we are saying is this, collapse.
So majority of MPs get this 100 million, Bob.
No, the total amount of money that MPs are getting now is 250 million.
250 million a year.
A year. Multiply 250, take your calculator. 250 million times 290 constituencies. Calculate there. How much is that? Calculate how much money that is.
I will calculate, I promise you.
And then they will tell you, and legitimately so, that through this money, work has been seen, we have built classrooms and everything. Why should a member of parliament, who is an oversight officer, have a fund where he spends that money and then he waits the Auditor General to come and that report is then tabled in parliament?
Where he sits.
Maina, are we crazy?
Oh my God,
are we crazy?
What a morning.
Are we crazy? And then you are busy talking about how this, how that. Look at the way, ever since I started talking CDF.
Hold on, you gotta say that again.
Yes.
Where would you give an MP a fund?
Yes.
To spend how
he wants, and goes and spends that money. And then the Auditor General goes and does an audit on this MP. Where does the Auditor General's report get tabled? Parliament. Where the MP does what?
Sits.
What do you want that auditor to do?
Oh my God.
The system is broken. Look at KAA. How much money do we give KAA every year? Look at Kura. Google. And then now sit down and ask yourself, which road has Kura done in Nyahururu? Which one have they done in Homa Bay? Where did the 116 billion go? Not a single road has been done. But the money is paid, money is reallocated. All these funds, roads money, which is under KAA, which is under Kura plus CDF, must be collapsed and it's taken to the county governments. What we do once the money is there, let the senator and the MCA and the MP be oversight people. Let us be the one who are going to be given, like me now, I'm a senator, I will have 9 sub-counties from Kisii.
Yeah.
I will go and see whether the projects are being done. The next person is the MP, who will have his sub-county, which is his constituency.
Yeah.
Let his job be purely
to go and see if the work has been done.
see whether what the work has been done. The next person, the women rep, how much money do we give them?
How much?
Is 100, now they are at 170 million.
For what?
How many women reps do we have? So that a woman rep gets this money, and some of them,
47
like
of them.
my women rep has done a fantastic job building water boreholes with that money. But the question I'm asking, what about those who don't do those boreholes? If there is a woman rep from Samburu, have you ever seen a borehole being done?
No.
In Turkana? Have you? So multiply 47 women reps times the 170 million. Add 290 members of parliament times 250 million. And let me tell you this, Maina, all right, because I know my MPs will call a Kamukunji and go and talk about me. I will face the wrath out of them. If you are a chairman of a committee, you will then negotiate with the treasury, you will negotiate with everybody who works in government, and as chairman of health, they will allocate money for you to go and do some health centers. So you'll see a Katu 50 thrown there, a Katu 90, or if you are actually in good books, there's like a 1.2B.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
We are here now.
Yes.
How do we get out of this? If you are
Thank you.
President Onyonka today,
Thank you.
You're the president today.
Yes.
How would you fix
Fantastic. When we met as the ODM and as the MIO team, we said this. We want conditions to be laid down on how we're going to fix this country. And we know, Maina,
what are those
you
conditions?
know the things I'm saying. It's not that I don't know the risks. Don't think I don't know somebody can blow my fucking head off. But I'm ready for it.
So
I'm ready for it.
How
you know
would
why?
you fix it?
Why I would fix it now is call a constituent assembly, go to Bomas and sit down and tell the people the system is broken. We are going to fix the financials. We are going to fix the corruption. We are going to create free education from primary to university. How can you take your girl children, put them in hostels, which are like brothels, and you think they're in university and you expect them to come out here and be good mothers and good sisters and life is normal, and you are laughing at it? How stupid can we be? And the money is there, and people are just sharing the money.
Okay.
So
listen,
call
Onyonka.
a constituent assembly.
Yes.
Sit down with the critical players, with all the committees of Bunge, and tell them this: the system leaks. Call the controller of budget. Call the auditor general. Call the goddamn EACC that never does anything. Sit down and tell them, how are we losing money? Start closing those gaps where we are stealing the money. Get to know the number of students we have. Make sure that is sacrosanct. Make sure you know the number of children going to university. Make sure we offer free education to the people who are going to university, because we can afford it. Subjects like engineering and medical services, including medicine, those are services that take a lot of money. The government can actually subsidize those kids to go completely for free to be trained. But give them a condition that once you train with us, then you have got a commitment with us for the next 10 years to give back, because we have invested in you. That's what good countries do. That's what we do to your people. Once you sit with the Constituent Assembly, we reconstitute the software of our country.
Because the hardware is okay.
The hardware is okay. The hardware is okay. We have an airport, but it's becoming filthy. We don't pay the workers. The people running Kenya Airports Authority never went to any school, leave alone any knowledge on how to run an aeroplane, how to run air controlling, how to run an airstrip. They were put there because of political reasons. And why? They went, their job is to look for where the money is. If I ask you today how much money does the Nairobi JKIA collect at Mombasa, nobody will tell you.
No one knows.
No one knows. So we have to fix that nonsense. That is why the country is moving. As if we move, we go back. Because everybody who has position of authority is stealing the money. That is why my colleagues in parliament think I'm crazy. They insult me. You used to be an MP. Even you stole. I said, yes, I stole. But now I'm confessing I stole. Now you also stop stealing. That is the nature. That is where we have to take our country. That is where we have to be honest with each other. That is why I say let the president be honest with these kids. They are not mad. These kids will tell you who steals what, who keeps where.
But then they've got all those records.
Yes.
The Gen Z.
Look at the engineers at KAA and Kura. Who doesn't know that most of these apartments in Kilimani are owned by them? Just plus the governors, plus the senators and the members of parliament. Who doesn't know?
Those high-rise apartments.
Those high-rise, we know it's government money. I mean, Maina, we are not stupid. We're just saying, let's fix the mess. How can you have a country where kids go to school, finish university, and a guy comes home and sits there with their parents, and the parents are going to retire? Where are these children going to go? Then you are busy pretending like there's something that you are going to look for them jobs in Europe. Where in Europe? Where? Europeans don't want any Africans there. Listen to the racist stories that you receive from Europe.
True.
And yet
I've experienced racism myself.
We can fix this country and it runs the way Rwanda runs. Kenya's problem is not political. It is moral. That is why in politics today, if you call me Mayana and Sheikh, where you kuja. You want to be minister? Everybody runs there. If the president calls me today and he says, wants to make me a minister, I'll tell him, sir, I really respect you. And I really like William.
Yeah.
I really do. I'll tell him, sir, the only problem is, in this system, I'll have to start telling you, by the way, for example, stop putting those flowers that you put in the cabinet. Why are you putting flowers costing you 20, 30,000 when you're having your cabinet meetings? What is it? State House has so many flowers that you go and walk and see those flowers, come back to the meeting and just hold your meeting. I mean, Maish, it's like when I saw a story that guys who work in State House were having 4 iPhones, 3 iPads, see you Apple what's wrong with us, boss? What is this insatiable desire to have articles of ostentation and wealth exposure, and we want to show everybody, you die. They put in that thing is what? 3x6.
Yeah.
So.
And you go with nothing.
Oh, with nothing. Then you are leaving people around here walking in squalor. You can't fix streets in the city of Nairobi. You can't collect garbage because the systems that are there are the ones who benefit from garbage collection. Sakaja can't bring a tram station to Nairobi. Why? Because so many interested parties are interested in that deal. Nobody's willing to let go. So Nairobi can't get a tram station because of fighting of corruption money. We can't get a garbage disposal system that would generate clean water and energy, which Nairobi can sell to the grid, which costs about 1 billion shillings. And yet we have the garbage in Dandora as if it is a drawing, a picturesque drawing of garbage disposal under the African context. Then when you are going to America, you take flights and you go and like I told somebody the other day, when we had and somebody really got pissed off with me because they thought I was being against women, like all men we are. I said, but the women governors who went to New York, the information I got is that each one of them was spending between $200,000 and $500,000 to buy kofias, dresses, and shoes.
You know what?
Did you hear?
We could be here all day.
Thank you.
We could be here all day. I want to say thank you so much. Okay? I'm going to be playing some of your calls.
Call me once a week. I can be coming, or once every 2 weeks.
Yeah. What? No, you'll make me commit suicide. I don't know that. But I shall certainly be in constant touch with you.
Thank you, my brother.
But thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you've understood the Kenya you now live in. I hope you now understand where we are coming from.
Yes. My point is, let us change our country. Maish, I don't have to go to a hospital and I'm a senator and I'm sitting on the chair and there are patients ahead of me and the guy who's at the reception calls me because he sees me as a senator. I surpass this line and just go because that's nonsense. Let me sit and wait for these guys to be treated. We have equal opportunity. If your child doesn't get an A, why do you want them to go to Alliance? They can go to any school and get a D+, they can be a fantastic driver, and maybe even be a mechanic and succeed in life. All of us can't be doctors, lawyers, and whatever, no. Why do we buy exams? Why do we cheat? Why do we want our children to pass beyond their capacities? What is it that helped us, that made us to be a people that we think cutting corners is beautiful, where meritocracy is takataka? You only want to employ people according to the favoritism, whether they come from your club, clan, tribe, or family. What happens to those who don't have access to you? Who is advantaged? That is the conscience that is bothering me.
Is Kenya fixable?
Yes. Kenya is fixable. Let me tell you one thing. If the president announced that he's introduced free education from primary to education, in 1 year, you'll see what happens. And those guys at the Ministry of Education who are printing books, why are we printing books from private printing presses, and yet in reality we have a government printer? What? Why is it that our country is about deals from morning till evening? It's a deal, yeah. It's a deal, yes. It's a deal, yes. Oh, look for Maina Kageni, sorry. He will say something about us. Mpatia barabara. Who told them that you want a barabara?
They don't.
And I've been saying these things, and every time I'm criticized, Onyonka just wants money. Honestly, I don't want more money than I have. I'm average. I'm not poor. I'm not rich. I'm comfortable. I don't want to drive a brand new 2026 Land Cruiser V8. I don't.
Kenya is fixable.
Kenya is fixable.
That's what I've taken away this morning.
Yes.
We're in a lot of problems, but Kenya is fixable.
You need genuine, honest individuals. And by the way, I have said this. William Ruto, my president, should stop thinking that it's him we hate. He's a consequence of the failed system. So if he wanted to make himself great, let him fix the consequences he's got Kenyans into so that he can even get a second term and they'll say, here was a great guy. He made a mistake, but he lifted himself.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Senator, for your time. I really appreciate you. And God bless you.
Thank you so much.
I'll be constantly in touch. When I've got a question, I'll be giving you a phone call.
I have so many friends of mine. A guy called Nix. Nix Kini loves you. He tells me he's from Kisi. They all love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to be with you in the studio again.
Thank you.
I will come if you need me.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I will maintain my dignity.
Thank you.
This is not personal.
True.
I hear people tell me, now you can even be governor. I am not even... I don't care about that.
Yeah.
No, I just feel that some of us need to start saying, please, let us fix the system so that when we are not there, other people can find it running properly and correctly.
I will be following up on the JKIA story.
Thank you.
So if you don't mind, please keep an eye on that for me.
And if I get any more data, which I'm getting,
in
fact, somebody just called me this morning and said they will bring me some other documents.
Yeah.
We are on.
Thank you. Thank you very much.